Hey everybody, today we're going to be looking at the Battery Tender Junior by Deltran. Alright, we've got our Battery Tender Junior here, fresh in the packaging. Let's get this puppy open. It's a nice little clamshell. Okay. So what do we got here? Extend your warranty by 6 months. No thank you. Important safety instructions. We'll check that out if we run into trouble. But it's pretty basic. We've got 3 things. Our wall unit that then has a universal plug on it, as well as your traditional alligator clips that looks like it has a fuse on it, and that plugs into our universal fitting here, as well as a couple of eyelets that you can just bolt right onto the battery, and then inline fuse and our universal plug right in here. So let's see, attention, do not remove this tag. Okay. Alright, so this is our Battery Tender Junior. Charges at 12 volts, 750 milliamps. So I bought this specifically to use on an AGM battery that we're going to be putting in the CRX. So to keep it all charged up, I decided to get this Battery Tender Junior, and we have a couple different charging options. So regardless, this is a 2-prong, goes right into our wall socket, takes 115 volts at 60 hertz, so just standard US wall power. And so 2-prong, it does have indicator lights, so it will either flash red, solid red, flash green, or solid green. And all of those different things mean different things, and it's all right here on the side. Flashing red is the battery is not charging. Solid red is the battery is charging. Flashing green is the battery is greater than 80% charged, and solid green is monitoring charged battery. So again, we've got lights here and here, instructions in English on one side and Spanish on the other side. We'll set this aside here. Then we've got our 2 different styles of charging clips here. We've got the alligator clips. We've got our alligator clips here. Of course, color-coded positive and negative, as well as stamped into the actual alligator clips themselves, positive and negative. So you'd be really hard-pressed to mix these up, but it happens. And then we also have an inline fuse. We also have an inline fuse box here. It's got a little cover, opens right up here. 7.5 amp fuse. It's going to be a traditional fuse. Plugs right in there. And then the cap goes back on. And on the other end here, we have our universal, well, maybe not universal, but for this application, it allows us to swap out different charging ends. So this also comes with a cover if it's not in use. So I will likely not be using this one as much. My goal is to have the battery in the car and actually use this set and just leave it mounted in the car. So let's get the twisty tie off here. Pretty simple. Again, we've got positive and negative color-coded little eyelets, fish eyes, not stamped, but we do have that same inline fuse going on. At the other end, we have that same juncture there. So with either set, plugs right into the wall mount. Good little fit. Also on here we have labeled positive, positive, negative, negative. Same thing on the alligator clip style. So this just comes those come right apart. Super easy, as you can tell. But so I know people often use these for motorcycles or anything with a little AGM battery, or if you have a car in storage that needs to be on a battery tender so that you can just have it up and running anytime. I'm going to leave these connections on the battery in the CRX, leave them in the battery box, and then whenever I'm going to garage the car for a little bit or over long weeks between drives or competitions, I'll just break this out, plug this into the wall mount, and then let that trickle charge. So the battery tender is also going to help keep, to extend the life of our batteries. If you are running an AGM battery, they do not like to be charged with kind of your standard battery chargers. Most chargers are going to have a setting for AGM or something like that so that you can switch it over. If you're using a standard battery charger, I think if you charge an AGM battery over 2 amps, it will damage the battery and severely reduce the life of that battery, if not killing it outright. So when you're shopping for battery chargers and batteries, you need to kind of know how they work together. So this Battery Tender Junior is going to work perfect with my AGM battery that's going into the CRX. AGM batteries like to be charged at pretty low amperage. This is going to be 0.75 amps, 750 milliamps, which is super safe within the window for our AGM battery. It's also going to keep the battery topped up if we have some parasitic draw, which I'm not anticipating with this build. I will leave this setup hooked up on the car, and then we will also have this waiting in the wings if it becomes necessary at some point, or for use on other projects. Either way, I'll just pull this little pigtail out when the CRX is garaged, hook it up to the battery tender, plug this sucker into the wall, and then we'll be good to go, hopefully not killing the battery in the process, which is entirely possible if you're using the improper battery charger for your battery, especially with AGMs. So this is a pretty simple piece of kit, more or less plug and play. There's no switches, no buttons, no dials. You just plug it into the wall and hook your battery up to it. That's as good as it gets, boys. Alright, so that's our Battery Tender Junior. I got it on the battery. It looks like it actually needed a little bit of charge. As you can see, the light was solid red. And the lights are not on the side there. Those are apparently just little grippy spots so that you can plug it in and unplug it. The light is right on the front of the wall plug, so you can see it super easy. It was solid red, meaning the battery was charging and that it was below 80%. So I'll just leave that on there for a while, come back to it, check it in a little bit, just to make sure it's not going crazy or anything. But yeah, all in all, super simple, easy to use. Really, it almost couldn't be any simpler. You plug in whichever of the two connectors that you want, hook it up to the battery, plug the sucker into the wall, and let it charge. Or, just mind your battery. So I hope that gives you a pretty good overview of the product. But for now, we'll just let the Battery Tender Junior do its thing, charge that battery up, and then plunk it in the car. Stay safe, keep wrenching. The light's right on the front of the charger, the wall part. The light is right on the front of the